So today, as per usual, we'll be going over news, and then we will be going over reminders, release improvements for November, a little demo, and then discussing our next priorities. So we got a new village this month, a very big welcome to Village Without Walls. It's great to have you guys on the Helpful Village team. And then, so we launched our national events. We did our trial period of the 2 weeks of yoga, and we think it was very successful. We had lots of people participate. We had villages from all across the country participate. That was really exciting, and we think it was pretty easy to get in, and it was secure to join, and we're very pleased with how it went.
Absolutely. So we wanted to, some of our villages participated in our national events that we were running. Some others didn't. So we wanted just to share some information about it with everybody. First is that it was a huge success. We had, for the last yoga class, we had about 80 people that registered for the event. Not all of them, attended, but we were wondering what was the interest of villages of such national events, and we think a lot of people was interested. So it's something we learned that was quite interesting. So for those that remember, we offered two sessions of a 1-hour yoga class with a fantastic Petra yoga instructor that we offered for free. But obviously, we need to transition into a model where basically Petra can do this in the long term. So we're thinking about basically having this as a paid session where basically the ticket price for such an event would be $6.99. So if you have members or volunteers that would like to join the yoga class next week, well, basically they would have to eventually consider paying this amount and joining the yoga class as we did last week. So the way this would operate is that the event can be visible on your village website, but then there will be a purchase button to buy this ticket. And then obviously, because it's a Helpful Village yoga class, well, then the Stripe button will make the payment to Helpful Village rather than the village itself. So it would come to us for our event. But it's transparent for your members and volunteers, so they don't see the difference. They just see the window of the Stripe possibility to enter the credit card number, and for them, it just feels the same. We also wanted to let you know that basically the event can be visible on your calendar. Would be visible on your calendar, and also the villages have full visibility on the participants list of your village. The participants of such event are counted in the reports of assistance for your own events, etc. So all that is being accounted for. Obviously, it's only the payment term, which obviously we need to find a way that we get that money to Petra somehow. So this is how it would work. We had a lot of people attending the class, but we would also be happy to hear more feedback. We heard some feedback already about people that were happy about the class, some other people that had suggestions. So you want to tell us more about what you thought, you can always send us an email at contact@helpfulvillage.com. Now, we were thinking about how to make it easy for members and volunteers to join the national events and this yoga class. We thought the easiest way to do this in the short term was to basically do a one-time purchase ticket. So you purchase a ticket for one class, and then you would need to enter the credit card information for that class. And that's it, that you make a commitment for one class and you get 1 hour of yoga for $6.99. So that was quite simple. At the same time, we understand that for some members or for some villages, you may think that it's a big hassle basically to look up for the credit card number, enter the credit card number to purchase the ticket. So we're here to listen. So if we have some villages that tell us that they prefer having their members or volunteers register for that event, but not paying online, but basically somehow they're gonna send the money to your village, right? Sending a check or some other way. Please let us know, because we'd be happy to hear about that. I don't see any problem for us, for us to charge the village on the monthly invoice, right? Counting the number of participants for your village, and then you find a way to basically get the money from your members to the village, if that's easier for you. And in the future, we may also think about other ways that make this payment process smoother. You know, in the future, if we have members that want to participate in all yoga classes of the month, maybe, you know, we could come up with an idea of paying once and then you're participating in all the yoga classes. But for now, we are thinking to start with the easiest way, which is, well, we sell tickets for one class. People can go in, purchase that ticket, and then that will take them to the yoga class. Let me go here, and then let's go on to the next slide. Okay, we're talking about yoga, but now we're gonna go very quickly to a tech question that I wanted to discuss. So when we were running the yoga class, it was the first time for us that we were running our Zoom module, you know, at a large scale. And we're very happy with how the Zoom module worked. So basically, people that registered on all your village websites were automatically using our Zoom module and registering on our Zoom for the yoga class. And it has several advantages that I wanted to explain today. And before I explain that, I wanted to show you what's the problem if you don't use the Zoom module, right? And this is a case actually we heard from one of our villages in California, where basically they were running an event that they were organizing open to all. And then they had this common shared Zoom link, right? So all the participants in that event were sharing the same Zoom link, which I know there are a lot of villages that are doing this. Kind of, they have a Zoom meeting link that they send everybody. In their specific case, what happened is that a lot of participants were from the village, but they also had the registration of another person, you know, that was on the web and registered for that event, and they were concerned. They contacted our support line saying, well, we got this person, we are scared that we got hacked or something. Can you look at this? So we looked at it, and I mean, nobody got hacked, but obviously if an event is open to all for registration on the village website, well, that anyone on the web can just use the register form and then get added to the attendance list. Now, if you don't have the Zoom module, what happened before is that you were sharing the Zoom meeting link with everybody, the same link, right? Including this fishy other person that was in the participants list that got them scared. And then, so it was a problem because there was no way basically to say, well, how do we remove this person? How do we make sure that maybe this potential hacker or something, or just, you know, someone that is playing a prank cannot participate in our event? And it was a hard thing for us to do because the person already had the Zoom link and there's not much we can do. But we wanted to explain this month basically that if you use our Zoom module, it's much better. Because look at this difference. So you see here, you have 4 participants sharing the same link. With the Zoom module of Helpful Village connects with the Zoom account. And when you have the Zoom account, basically what happens is that we generate a unique link to join the Zoom meeting, right? So you have the 4 same participants of your event, but because we're using the Zoom module that is smarter and more secure, each person gets a unique email. And then ahead of time, before the meeting, we can look at the list of participants and we see, oh, this fishy person, this person that we don't know, this person that we do not want to participate in this event. We can just remove or cancel their link, and they don't have the meeting link. So basically all the other 3 people still can join the meeting. So we just wanted to illustrate this month an explanation of why the Zoom module makes things much more secure. And it is that it's a much better practice to have an individual Zoom link per person rather than sharing the meeting link with everybody. So this is clear. If someone has questions about this, you know, please feel free to unmute. I'm happy to provide additional explanations. If this is clear, we can move on.
Manuel, this is Bonnie from Capital City Village in Austin. Hey, I missed last month, so I may be uninformed about the Zoom module. So you're talking about something that is different from what we've been using, which is just to insert the Zoom link into the response.
Exactly. Thank you for the question, Bonnie. It allows me to clarify. So we have done this in several steps. what we did at first is that we added the possibility for villages to include a Zoom link for everybody, a shared Zoom link. So it's probably what you're using, Bonnie, today. Actually, all villages are using. And that was convenient because it allowed you to share this Zoom meeting link with your participants, right? So it was very good for distribution, but it was not very good for security because everyone had the same link. And Bonnie, there is this new component, right, that we invite villages to use, which is this specific Zoom module that is better and more secure because it's providing a different link per participant. So we're gonna show you a little more. We have a few more slides explaining how that works, but it's just a premium feature that we are doing super affordable. It just only costs $5 per month. And in my view, it's a huge improvement of the security. And you know, we're happy for villages that want to test it, and you know, before committing or something, there is no problem. But I really encourage people that to be more secure with this Zoom module.
Well, but for those of us who actually, most of our events are open to the public,
Yeah.
We have found the existing way very convenient. And
Yeah.
we have not had any security issues, but we have a lot of security in place on the Zoom side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what I think, Bonnie, that happens is that we use some of those security settings that you do on Zoom, right? You possibly need to register people manually on Zoom, right? To make sure who's there. And we're doing that automatically so that it can save some of the steps. So when someone registers on Helpful Village, we automatically register them on Zoom and they get a personal Zoom link. So anyways, in a way, what I'm saying is that I know the previous way we had was convenient, right, for distribution. I think the new way is as convenient as the previous one, but also more secure.
But you're not going to take away the old way, are you?
No.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna show, give a few more explanations in the following slides so that this explains a little bit more. And this is a good example, right? So basically when people register on our yoga class, on Helpful Village, just register for an event, our Helpful Village server automatically contacts the Zoom server, right? Your village Zoom account, and it's adding the people in the participants list of that event, right? So I know people run some Zoom events where there's no participants list, the people don't need to register, just click on the link. But the way we're suggesting is that when people register on Helpful Village, their names will be registered on Zoom and they'll receive an individual link. And then from Zoom, this is a screen from Zoom that we're showing here. You see a list of participants that are legit, kind of Michael Harper, there's Joel, etc. And then we added on purpose, kind of this fishy hacker, right? Just a person on the participants list that looks weird. And then we're just showing here that you can select that person and then click on the cancel registration of that person in Zoom, right? So it's an explanation of how you can prevent some ill-intentioned people to attend your meeting. And maybe, Bonnie, something that I know some villages were doing before is that they were doing exactly the same thing we're showing here, but they were doing it manually. They were creating these people on Zoom themselves, sending individual emails manually, and that obviously was taking much more time. But maybe it's what you're doing today and your security is okay, but just a lot more work.
No, we're not.
Excuse me, I do have a question. When you do that, if they're in the meeting already, does that kick them out of the meeting already, or do you have to do that in the meeting itself?
Yeah, I haven't tried it, but I know you can remove them from the meeting itself for sure, right? Okay. You can find the same person. Yeah. There's another thing that, Kevin, there is another thing that you'll be interested in, is that when people register from Helpful Village with the Zoom module, they are registered on Zoom with the same name they had on Helpful Village. And therefore, for that reason, the participants that you see at your meeting, rather than be called Samsung 5G or something like that, or when they create the Zoom account, sometimes they have weird names, right? They will They will participate in the Zoom meeting with their real name, which is the name that was used when they're registering on Helpful Village. So it's easier basically to remove them right from the list, and also it's just easier for you to know who's attending the meeting.
That's sweet. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. There is one more thing about the Zoom module that we found really interesting, is that this is a Helpful Village screen, and this is the event that we had on our demo site for the yoga class. And something that is interesting is that when people click on their email to participate in the event, kind of when they're clicking on join the online meeting, basically we know that they're coming to the class, to the online event. So basically we can automatically check the present at that event. So basically here is that people that could participate in our yoga class. And this is a real event actually. And there was Petra that we registered on our demo website, and myself, and we both participated. And then I didn't need to check these boxes here. They were checked automatically, because when people use the personal link, we know they were going to the class, and then we just check mark them as present. So this again is something that villages were maybe doing manually before, just cross-listing how many people attended for real the event. This is now done automatically because we have this unique link.
Yeah, and it's worth noting as well that you weren't marked present because you were the host of the meeting. So he didn't use that link to go into it. So it didn't mark him as present, but Petra got marked present because of that.
Yeah. If you don't use the Zoom module, right, you can always manage this manually and, click here and click here for the other people that joined. But just another added benefit is that you have better reporting of people attending your Zoom meetings if they use this unique link, personal link. Okay, and then with this is kind of some of the benefits of the Zoom module that we just could see when we were using the yoga classes, and these same benefits could be applied to your village for your own events. And then for that is you can contact us, and then we can activate this feature. And you need to send us some keys, secret keys from your Zoom account, so that our server can talk to your Zoom account and stuff like that. And then, as I said before, we think it's super important because we like security, and we think it's super convenient. So for villages that, maybe didn't understand everything I said today, we are really making it easy to test it, give it a try, not charging, if you're not happy with the test, etc. So we really want people to try it and, just keep it if they like it. And if they don't like it, we stop it. It's not a problem. Okay, and then with this benefits of the Zoom module, we're gonna move on to Joel, that is gonna present basically how we are running the yoga events and the national events for next week. So basically, as we showed here, we demonstrated everything that we did last week. And what Joel is gonna do now is gonna show you how this could work for your village for next week, where we're also having another, our next yoga class. So Joel.
So I'm just going to walk you through the steps of how someone would get themselves signed up for this. So first thing we're going to do is go to the event and have it open. You can go there from the calendar or the event list, and you will press purchase tickets, which will then take you, make sure that they're only putting in the quantity of 1, and then you click checkout. And then they'll have to fill in their information. So it confirms that this is a gentle yoga ticket, 1 quantity, the price, and then you put in your name, and that's how they will appear when they log into Zoom, with this name, and their email, their address, all that good stuff. Always make sure that this box is checked. This is very important. And then you proceed to payment. And then this looks like Stripe always looks. You put your card number, your expiration date, the security code, and then you click pay. And then we always get this confirmation screen when we know it worked successfully. Tickets bought and credit card charged successfully. And then they are all registered. And to confirm this, they will receive an email that looks like this. It's a confirmation email about the registration. So it says how much they paid, that it worked, all that stuff. And then at the bottom of this email is the button to join the Zoom meeting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. So so that's basically how the yoga class is gonna work for next week. I think you have one more slide actually.
Yes, I do. So this is just a reminder that the only villages that have already signed up will have this on their calendar. So please email us at support if you would like to sign your village up.
Yeah, so maybe I want to add something here. So basically, just so that you understand our philosophy here, well, first, we didn't know how much people would be interested in this yoga class nationwide, and we were surprised that a lot of people were interested. From Helpful Village, we think it's great to make this available to villages. Kind of, well, if you know, for your village, it makes sense to offer this yoga class, and you know, you can have this programming without organizing it or stuff like that is available to you. But we understand that this is your village website, right? So this, don't worry. I mean, what I mean is that you can add it if you want. If you're not interested, it will not be showing on your individual village website. Okay, and then now we can go. And then with this, we're done. And oh yes, there's a question.
Manuel, this is Carol in Portland.
Hey, Carol.
So we had approved having the yoga thing on our website.
Cool.
So are we all already signed up for that, or do we need to?
So the best thing is to send us an email at support@helpfulvillage.com, and we will set everything up, you know, so that it shows up on your calendar.
Okay, so what we already agreed to have on our calendar.
Yeah, I mean, everyone needs to send, because even those that participated last week, we can contact them individually, but obviously it's not the same thing to have the free yoga class that we had last week and this paid event this week. So we're gonna go back to everybody, and everybody that wants to keep doing it needs to confirm and, you know, send us an email. So if you can send us an email, it's good. I know Joel had planned to contact the other ones that had it, you know, last week to make sure that they are okay with going with you know, the paid event.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Carol. Okay, and now we go, and then here we're done with basically the news that took a little bit of time today with the national events and the yoga class and the Zoom module. So what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna go over some reminders that we do every week that are really important with important resources. Joel is gonna do that in a minute, and then after that we have the improvements, you know, the release notes of the improvements of this month. So Joel is gonna go first, and then we're gonna go on to the improvements. So Joel.
Okay. So just a reminder, next week is the V2V hosted webinar where we do a lot of Q&A, so that's always a great thing to attend. And then for customer service, questions, bugs, stuff like that, please email support@helpfulvillage.com. And if you have improvement ideas, we love to receive them. Please submit them at this link here. And then we've always got our training documents, videos, and slides available for you guys to look at. And so you can find those by going to the Helpful Village Google Drive. So the training documents are a great way to look up any questions that you have on a specific functionality of the platform. And then training videos are a good way to have a step-by-step kind of walkthrough, just another resource for you guys to use. And then we've got one new training document this month. It is the Zoom module training document. And just one more time, bugs and questions go to support, and ideas go to Ask Helpful Village.
Okay, great. Thank you, Joel. And then we're going to move on to the release notes. So the release notes is what, you know, the improvements that we add to the platform every month. And these are the new things that will show up on your servers, not today. It's going to show up this weekend when we deploy the new version to the server. And we're going to start with events. So as you may remember, we added some time ago a checkbox when you're editing an event that allows you to mark it as is canceled, right? Imagine that you create an event and suddenly you cancel it. In the version that we had before, it was a checkbox that you can have on your reports for your stats, right? And for your reporting to know how many events were canceled. But we were not being very smart about the use of this is canceled checkbox. And now we are, starting this weekend, being more smart. One of the things we have changed is that if you check that box, is canceled, and save the event, we're gonna automatically change the RSVP required field. So because we assume that in general, if you're canceling an event, you don't want to keep accepting other registrations for that same event. So this is gonna, you know, basically just automatically just click is canceled, and we're gonna take care of the RSVP field for you. That is one. The other thing that we're going to do about this canceled field is that we can prefix the name of the event automatically for you. So if you check that box, right, we're going to prefix the name of the event as cancel super hits of the 60s or cancel any other thing. And this will happen in several places. It will happen on the event description, as you can see here. It will happen on the events list. It will happen on the events calendar. So you don't need to, what some villages were doing before, and I understand that was smart, is that they had to go into the event and then change the name of the event and call it canceled something. Well, you don't need to change the name of the event anymore because that's too much work. Just if you check the box is canceled, we're gonna take care of the renaming.
Question. When the event is canceled, will those who have registered be notified somehow?
No, yeah, so it's a good question, but we don't want to do it automatically in the sense that, villages usually want to have kind of a human touch or explain or apologize or something in a more kind of personal way. What we recommend doing is that you can have that event and you can synchronize with MailChimp, kind of the participants of that event. And then from there, you can, just write a personalized message explaining what happened with the event, that, the apologies and saying that it's canceled or it's rescheduled or something, etc. But it's not going to be an automatic cold email. It's something that you can do with a little bit more of careful language.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Okay, and now we were done with events. Kind of those are the changes we did for events, and we have done. Now we're moving on to the reports module, and there are several improvements we have done this month. The first one we're discussing here is the providers by categories. So some villages have a list of recommended providers that can be, the plumbers, the lawyers, the, landscaping and other things, and allow their members to enter reviews. Kind of if one of your members, used a plumber and he was very happy, he can go in, give it 5 stars and recommend it thereby to the other members of the village. I personally like it a lot because it's an easy way for your members to engage with the platform and with the village. It's very easy just to write a review on the website. Now, the change we're introducing this month is that when you're generating the report, and this is the PDF report, the one you see there is providers by categories PDF. You can generate a PDF with a list of all providers that are recommended by your village. And then you can have a couple of options. You can include the reviews in that same PDF file. And the new change that we added is that you can also add another filter to only show the providers that have been reviewed by a village member. So you have more options when reporting. Okay, let me see if I can just reduce this a little bit so that I can read. Okay, this one is exciting. This is something we had heard from several villages, but in particular from Jersey in Houston, is the possibility to know which one of the members have been able to log into Helpful Village. So we have had Jersey migrated, I don't know, maybe a month or 2 months ago. And then they were taking all their members to start using Helpful Village. So they started, basically resetting the password, sending password instructions. But then when you do that, you want to know, which members have been able to do it or which members need a little bit of help. So we added the possibility on the spreadsheet reports, so on active members, also on active volunteers, and I think it's pretty much in all reports that are showing people. We added a column that says has logged into Helpful Village. So this is a yes or no column. So it will say no if this person has never logged in. And if this person has logged in once, well, then that column will say yes. So your village is now able to know which ones of your villagers have been able to log in to Helpful Village at least once. And maybe, if you want to send a volunteer or help them log in, you can always do that. So that's a great improvement. Thank you for the improvement request. This is another improvement we added this month, but it's just more of something we had forgotten. It's kind of the payments report where you can print basically the payments that the village has received. It has a column with the address, city, etc. And we were not showing the additional information, kind of the apartment number and stuff like that. We had forgotten that one, so we just fixed that problem, and we are now showing the apartment number on the payment report spreadsheet file. This is just a little hint. but we're moving there. So now we did reports. Now we're going to the donations module. There are different improvements. This one is just very simple. Just we're giving a hint to help people that start using the donations module, letting them know that if they're logged in as an admin, right, there's these admin features where they can search a person in the database. They know one of their members or volunteers, they can search it, or they can also search an organization. If it's a foundation or donor organization, they can search it and then add the donations, the best way to do it. If this person is not in the database, we just added a hint there saying, well, if they're not in the database, you can, just add the person below, just scroll down. This one is funny. I mean, it's funny now, but it was not funny when this was reported to our support system. We had a village that had a problem with a donation. And I never thought of this, but basically we had someone that was making a donation and they didn't add their name to the donation. And well, we had basically the server had a little bit of trouble accepting a donation that was misnamed. So now we just added an error message that catches that and say, basically make sure that, as a donor, and this message is shown even for people that are not logged in, right? So if you have a person that is in a different place making a donation, and for some reason what happened here is they had entered their first name and they didn't enter their last name. Maybe they forgot, I don't know. But now we're making sure that people provide first name and last name when they're making a donation. So that just prevent this.
Manuel, may I just ask a question? Does that show up regardless of whether they have already entered both, or is that before?
No. Only, sorry, good point, John. Is only if they forgot, right? So we go with the normal flow of things. And then this is kind of an error I had not thought of, but it just happened to one village and then they reported it to us. So now we added an error message if someone tries to make a donation without a last name. So we're gonna say, wait a minute. We need a last name. Anyways, so now the next one. This one is a big one. I mean, it's probably the point where we spend the most time this month. I mean, a big one. It's easy to explain, but we had to do some code with Stripe and stuff like that. So is the possibility to have monthly donations. So on the donation form, there is a checkbox that allows a person to make a monthly donation, right? So every month we just, gonna withdraw the money from the credit card, and then the donation keeps going on, month over month. So this is something we had added before. But we had a little issue with the payment description, right? That was saying, I mean, we had something about just got a little bit mixed up with the monthly payment for membership. So that is fixed now. And then basically if someone is doing a monthly donation, well, it just show up as a monthly donation. Connected to this, we cleaned up all this, but basically kind of interestingly, we had set up at first, we didn't have monthly donations. We only had one-time donations. But we had monthly payments for membership, right? And then in the way we had it before, it was not possible to be at the same time monthly member paying for the monthly membership payments, and at the same time also doing monthly donation. We didn't think that would happen, but that happened because it happened to one of our villages. So now in this new version, it's possible to be both at the same time. You can do monthly payments for membership, and at the same time, you want to set up other monthly donations, you can do that.
Manuel, will the automatic thank you for your donation go out each month?
Wow, it's a good point. Not at this. Yeah, I need to check that. We looked that up for you. I'm going to clarify for others that don't know, but it's a good question, Sheila. So basically, when someone goes online and makes a donation, we process the payment and accept the money through Stripe, etc. And then villages have the possibility to set up a thank you for your donation template, email template that they can customize with beautiful language and stuff. That happens, I'm sure, for the one-time donation. Now for the monthly donations, if that message is sent every month, I don't know. Sheila, what do you think should be done? Do you think it's too much email if we send every month, or you think it's a good idea to send it every month?
I think it's a good thing to send every month.
Okay, thank you for
to recognize, because they might not even remember that they made it, 6 months from now.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea to send it out just to thank them for doing that.
Okay, Perfect. So we're making a note to make sure, because maybe it's already doing it, but we will double check before this weekend when we release. And yeah, I think it's a good thing to send it every month.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Okay, now we go to the next slide. Okay, this is another thing that was related to donors. So when we receive a donation on the website, we automatically create a prospect task. And the prospect task is related. I mean, these kind of two modules working together. The prospect module allows you to recruit different things. You can recruit new members, you can recruit new volunteers, you can recruit also new donors, right? So here what we're doing is that for a person that has made a donation at least once in the past, we create a prospect task saying that this is a potential donor for the future. We do that automatically, and then you follow up manually with these people, right, for your next fundraising campaign. What we had in our code until today is that we were only creating this prospect task for new people that were not in the database. For example, you had a member that was making a donation. We were not adding them to the prospect list because it was not a new person. But actually, I think that any person that has made a donation is a good prospective donor. So now we're creating this task for all people, regardless of the fact if they existed before or not. So now if you have a member that is well known by the system, is making a donation, we will create the prospect task as a donor.
Manuel,
Yes.
if they make multiple donations, will there be multiple prospect tasks
Yeah, no, we need only
created?
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my monthly guy won't have every month a new prospect
Yeah.
task. Okay, thank you.
What we want to do is kind of look if there's one open prospect task for that person already. If there is one open, we are not going to create a second one. If there is not an open prospect task, then we'll create one.
Perfect, thank you.
Perfect, thank you for the question. So next one is a suggestion. This is, I remember talking with the Jim Luden about this from Taos, New Mexico. It is a contact form for your village, right? Where you can add first name, last name, and ask a question to the village. And this is part of the public website, so you don't need to be logged in for this. And we're thinking about the possibility to add a checkbox for people that are contacting the village anyways to subscribe to the village mailing list, right? So this can be useful for your marketing later, etc. And this kind of, we allow them, well, basically to subscribe to the mailing list, and they become an additional person in your mailing list for your, marketing messages and MailChimp messages, if they check that box, obviously. Okay, this is service requests. We only did this one little thing when we were talking with Falmouth, Cape Cod. So for service requests, the standard operation is that you can set up an automatic email that goes out every morning at 10 a.m. to all volunteers that have possibility, open opportunities to volunteer according to their skills, etc. So that goes automatically at 10 a.m. But any time of the day, you can manually send out service requests. You can click on multiple selection in the list of service requests, and there is a button that sends them to the email messenger, and then you can send to your list. Now, what we added this month is that we were not chronologically ordering those service requests. They were just putting there, the 3 or 4 that you had selected, but there was no specific order. And now we're just ordering them so they look prettier. Those that are coming up first will be on top. Those that will come up later will be at the bottom.
Question?
Yes.
Do we have to do something to get that automatic every night email to go out?
Yes.
Okay, what do I need to do?
When you go to settings, and then service requests, there is a checkbox that says you want to send out an automatic email to your volunteers.
I think that's set, but I'm...
Okay, we can double check with you, but also the thing that I wanted to say is that there are a couple of conditions. That email only goes out to the server wakes up at 10. It looks for all volunteers that are screened. If the volunteer is not screened, we're not gonna send the email. For each volunteer that is screened, we're gonna look if there are opportunities to volunteer that fit their skills, right? So for example, if there is no, if I'm only about transportation, there are no transportation rights, I will not receive the email.
Right.
But if there is something open in the future, I'm a screen volunteer, and it's within my skills, then that email will go out for that person.
Okay, but the person doesn't have to have an account?
or anything like that
Oh,
already?
yeah. They need to have an account on Helpful Village, yes, and they need to be a
Okay.
speaking volunteer.
And he has to, well, okay, goes to volunteers, that's fine. But what about an actual account? Does he have to log in?
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
maybe that's what.
Yeah. Because the thing is that, I
You
mean,
don't have to be logged in to get the email.
you're right. You're right. You don't need to log in to receive the email. But once you receive the email
Mhm.
and you want to, you know, basically
Right.
accept or take one of
Right.
the requests, then you need to be logged in to
Right,
accept.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. So both Sheilas helped me get the answer right. Okay, we have another discussion here that we discussed last week at the B2B, not last month, sorry, at the last webinar. Just the default display of links on the editable pages, right? So this is on one of our villages in Philadelphia. And basically what we had before is by default, the links on these pages were black, which is, I don't know, kind of a design choice. The point that was raised by several villages that those links were not always very visible. So we discussed about what would be a better default color. And you can see that at the bottom right of the screen is a click here. The links by default will look like that. So it's first to have this red, which we heard from a village that is kind of a good choice of color for people that have visual impairments. And also we thickened the line under it. So it's more visible that it's a link. Now you can override those styles. So if you say, you think, well, our links, I like them better when they're blue or purple, you can still go with the editor and change the color. So you have power to change that and overrule that. But if you don't do anything, by default, it will be this color. Okay, this is about our check-ins module. Just added a little improvement there. When you have a volunteer that is checking in with a member, now they have a possibility to click on the name of the member and see basically their profile, where they can basically you can see picture, the bio, and general very limited amount of information about the person. But it can help when you're making a phone call. I think I just think it makes a lot of sense to click on the person profile and at least see the picture of the person. Just humanizes the conversation. Okay, now this one is a big one also that I wanted to discuss with you. It's membership management. Let me explain first what we did this month. And so for people that are familiar with the platform, on the member tab of each person, right, of your members, you have these 4 dates. This member since when the join date of the member. You have the last renewal date, is the last time this person renewed, and then paid until date and the expiration date. The expiration date is easy to understand. It's kind of, basically you make a commitment today to be a member for a full year. Then your expiration date is a year from now because that's your commitment. Now, what we added this month is that a little bit more, kind of a smarter way to.
What happened?
Manuel, you're muted.
Sorry, we're back. We lost the connection for a second. And we kept talking, and then we saw Zoom that was kind of, dum, 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 dum. It's like, oh, what's going on? What does he want? Anyway, sorry. Let's go back to our explanation about membership. I'm going to share my screen again. Boom. Sorry for the interruption. Just lost the internet for a second. Yeah, so we're talking about member management. So basically, this is a print screen of the member tab, right? So this is how you manage your members, and there are these 4 dates. And I'm gonna go explain very quickly what those 4 dates are about. The member since is easy, it's the join date of the member. The last renewal date is also easy, it's the last time the person renewed. The expiration date is also kind of quite understandably the date where the membership expires, of course, but it's kind of the commitment, right? So if you have a year-long membership, right? Let's say a person, when they join, they commit for 12 months membership. The expiration date will be today plus 12 months. But they have not paid it yet, right? So just, they're gonna send the check on the mail or something. So what we have added this month is a better management of the paid until date, so that you can see that this person committed to be member for 1 year, but we have not received the check yet. Or when we do receive the check for this 1 year payment, well, basically the paid until date will be the same one at the expiration date. So using the smarter way to use this date, we will know, well, what are the members that owe you money, right? Those that if the paid until date is not being used, is not the same at the expiration date, that means that you have a missing payment. I wanted to make a comment also because this paid until date is a field that you may have seen already before in the past. The reason for that is that the paid until date, we introduced it when we added the monthly payments, right, for membership. So if you paid monthly, the expiration date will be a year from now. But then every time we receive a monthly payment, the paid until date will be extended automatically by 1 month. You see what I'm saying? So this is what we were doing before, kind of extend the paid until date for monthly payments. What is new this month is that we are also managing the paid until date for the lump sum payments. So that will help you see the people that need to, pay for a full year and have not yet sent the check. If it,
Well,
yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'll take the question.
What are the permissions on this? Who has the ability to change that?
Yeah.
Does the member manager?
Yeah, member manager. And obviously the admin, if you have, admins have full power, but member manager.
Thank you.
The other thing that I was going to say is that I realized that I tried to explain it orally, but I think we want to do a specific training session for the membership module, right? So that we go over a number of things, associated memberships, what happens with the renewal emails, etc. So we're talking here about the improvement we did this month, but we realized it would be a good idea to run a full training about membership management that will explain this and other things also. We have a few more improvements about the membership.
Is that training going to be your monthly or a special session?
Yeah, it's a good question because we were thinking we have this V2V webinar next week, right? So it's a Q&A webinar essentially. Sometimes we get a lot of questions and then we do that, and sometimes there are fewer questions, and then I was thinking, well, if we have time, we could do some training there. But I don't know what you guys think. I think it's something that needs to be done. We can do it next week at the B2B webinar if we have enough time, or we can also wait for next month's webinar to do a specific training about membership.
No, I'd like to hear more about the shared email accounts.
Yeah, exactly. So that comes with membership too. So I think we should do this full training to go over these different aspects. So there is renewal templates, for how to renew. The email goes automatically 30 days before. Kind of membership management has a number of things that are connected that I think is worth explaining in a training session that we do for all villages. So we really want to do that. We're going to start preparing that, and then we haven't announced a date yet. I think maybe for next week it's a little bit too short. But I think probably next month in December, we can do a training about membership management.
Okay, that would be wonderful if we could just have a little notice, because I'd need to let my membership team know. That'd be great. Yeah, thanks. Perfect.
But we know that it's there are many things that happen around membership, right? And we want to clarify that for all. Thank you. So so we have a couple of kind of small improvements about membership that I need to explain today because these are new. So we have now, this is a print screen of the settings within membership tab. We had a village, but what we do by default is that we're sending the renewal email 30 days before expiration date to all members. And, if we have associated members, we're gonna send to each member, we're gonna send the email so that everyone is aware. It's kind of funny because we heard from one village that said, well, what's important for them that, I don't know, both people in the household receive it for equality reasons. And we had another village that came back to us saying, well, when these two people received both emails, they were a little bit confused if this other person has paid for it. And then we prefer, in our case, to only send the renewal email to the primary member. So we wanted to make everyone happy. And we created a setting in the membership tab of your village. So you can choose for your own village. If you prefer only sending the renewal email to primary members, you can check that box. If you don't check that box, it will go to all associated members of the associated membership. Now, I can also tell you when we send the email to the associated members, also displays the present information. Before they renew, they can see the expiration date. So, you can also double check and see, oh, my husband or my wife or my partner paid for it because I can see the expiration date is already a year from now. But anyways, more options more power to the village. It's another also little improvement we did for membership management. It's like the 4 dates that I was saying before. At first, we had this last renewal date that was only managed by Helpful Village, was automatically when we were receiving information or payments, we were managing it ourselves. Now we make it manually manageable because some villages needed to correct this for villages. I mean, the new village that was starting, so they needed to fix this last renewal date. It was important for them to have their records straight. So we still manage this information automatically, but we also allow the member manager to just enter manually the date if they need to change it. Okay, I think this may be the last improvement I have on my list. And this is something we did for our village, one of our villages in Vermont, where basically they received payment for membership. And you can go to the details of that payment. On Helpful Village, you go to reports, payments, find that payment, and that find payment, there is a button that says send a receipt for that payment. So you can send a receipt for a payment by email. And we were showing here different templates of the customizable templates that you can manage. And we were showing only here kind of the templates for payment in general that were specific about payment. And we added here now the possibility to also choose membership templates, because if you're saying thank you for renewing your village membership, is a membership template, but we need to, that can be used for the receipt of a payment. Anyways, now you have, when you're sending a receipt, you see payment templates and you also see membership templates. That's kind of the summary. Okay, I finished with the improvements of the month, but I cannot let you go yet because we're not done. This is kind of the new current priority. So this is what we will be working on starting tomorrow or this afternoon, depending. And this is, well, we have this feature that we had to do for a long time. I really want to get it done before the end of the year. It's like, it's really important and just haven't completed yet. It's just a report. We want to do a report that is adding up the hours for service requests, for hours and for check-in. So now what our villages have to do is like they pull the reports for service requests, for hours, and then for check-ins, and they're adding up the hours of their members, but that they don't need to do that manually. I really would like to do that for them. We have included in this month's priorities feature that is very popular. I mean, we received several improvement ideas about this one, is the possibility to have folders and subfolders in documents library. So we're gonna make that available next month when we come back. We want to help you organize your documents in the documents library. There's another connected improvement is the possibility to basically bulk delete reports from the documents library. Today you need to delete the documents one by one. It's a little bit annoying. Sometimes people produce reports that are automatically stored in the reports library when they don't need those reports there anymore. We want to make it easier for them to select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then delete the 6, and then they're gone. We have another improvement for December, which is adding a checkbox for Village Talk, but an interest group that would basically by default integrate all members, but the members can opt out. But don't worry too much about that one. It's just better management of Village Talk, and we'll explain when we do it next month. We're also adding more website design features and templates for your website. So basically allowing you, trying to make it easy for you to improve the look and feel of your websites with more functionality there. The last one is one that is I found particularly interesting. Is I heard back from a village in New Mexico, because you all know that we announced that we have quite some work to translate Helpful Village into Spanish, hoping to expand diversity of the movement and allow people in Spanish-speaking communities to form a village in Spanish. That is great. So we did that, and it's kind of working. But then we heard back from actually 2 villages, one in California and one in New Mexico, saying, well, that we really like this Spanish-speaking thing, but we want to be bilingual. We cannot go full Spanish. And we didn't think of that, but basically being bilingual needs a few more changes. For example, we're gonna do that on next month, kind of quite simple. When you're adding the menu items in your menu, right? Well, those will have two versions. We'll have the English version and the Spanish version. If your village wants to run a bilingual website, well, the website will display the information in English or Spanish, depending on what language people have selected. So New Mexico and California, we're bringing this to you, at least for the menu for next month.
Manuel,
Yes.
is there going to be an effort to look at permissions? I know that we had some discussion about that on.
Yeah. So let me clarify for other people, because Sheila, I know what permissions you're mentioning, but for other people that don't know, so permissions is about the rights you can find in the general tab. So basically, some villages have admin rights. I mean, some people have admin rights for the village, allows them to do everything. And sometimes they give admin rights to a few people, but the best practice is really to have managers of different roles. So that you have a service request manager, you have an event manager, that you have a treasurer, you have a membership manager, so that potentially you have the minimum amount of admin, maybe only one, right? And all other people are one of these other smaller roles. That adds security to your platform because, well, you know that your member manager is not going to mess up the events, and the event manager is not going to mess up the membership and stuff like that. So we think it's a good step in the right direction. So yes, we need to fine tune these permissions. We have done some. Sheila, I don't know if we have an open ticket with a list, but definitely we want to hear back if you have found some specific examples of permissions that are missing. We definitely want to include that in this next month.
Okay, great,
Can I
thank
just,
you.
wait a minute. Okay, can I just ask about the documents? Who has
Yeah,
the access? Who has access to put documents in the documents folder? What right is that?
So what we do, usually when we launch anything, right, is essentially admins have rights in the doc, and then we expand rights to other roles. At this time, documents, library, I think only admins have access to those. But it's a good question, Sheila, because this is where it becomes interesting, but it's also a little bit complex. It's kind of knowing if we should have something like a documents manager. You see what I'm saying? And then we need to be careful not to have 20,000 types of different managers. And you can combine rights, kind of. You can also have a person that is, hey, I am member manager and documents manager or something like that. So it's possible to add roles to a person.
Well, I was just thinking about our secretary who can add her minutes into the document folder. What kind of permission does she need? Or do I have to do that?
Yeah, so I think at this point, only admins have access.
Only admin?
Obviously, we need to check the code to be absolutely sure. But now my question is in connection with the other Sheila question, which is saying, when we identify sometimes that you have a person in your team, right, that does have these limited rights, and it's a good thing that they have limited rights, and they need to do something that they're unable to do because they're missing the rights, kind of, oh, she needs to put this stuff in the document library. When I hear back about that, what I'm thinking is, the next version, we can identify additional roles that we add to Helpful Village, right? It could be a documents manager role. And then you can choose the people that have this documents manager role, and then you can give that to 3 or 4 people, and then maybe your secretary, is not an admin, but could look at the document. It's a little bit complex because, we need to hear back from villages about saying, well, in our case, the member manager would like to do this, but cannot do that. And then we can add more rights there, but villages operate sometimes in a different way. And you need to think about, if you give rights to your secretary, right, for the documents, you need to be aware that she will see all documents in all folders and stuff like that. So, but anyways, it's a good point. A documents manager role is maybe necessary, that we maybe need to add that.
Okay, and the other one is who can actually send out emails, like regular email blasts?
Well, that one, I'm pretty sure there is a email messenger role.
Oh, is there one?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember the specific name right now, but I'm quite sure there is one.
Can we stop sharing this now?
Oh yeah, we can do that. Yeah, so we are in the question time. We're a little bit over time. Well, first, maybe what I can do is that we're a little bit over time. So if some of the villages want to leave now, we don't want to, basically anyone that can leave the meeting can leave the meeting. We'll stay here a little longer for some questions. So if people have questions, we can stay for 5 more minutes or something like that. There is also another webinar next week, which is this B2B webinar. You need to register on the B2B website. So if you have big questions or a lot of questions, I would say let's wait for next week. If you have one quick question for today, I think we can take the last question today before we go.
Okay, just a stupid question. How do we get in the list?
Sorry, that's the problem with my system, is that we only allow one question, but we have 10 people that can ask one.
Could you could I interject and just ask people who have questions for next week to send them, I guess, to support? I don't know who the coordinator will be. Just a little.
Yeah, that's it. That's really important. Thank you, Joanne. That's it. That's the smartest thing to say, is that we really don't want to make sure we have all questions in, and we're meeting next Wednesday again at the same time on this B2B webinar. So I'd say all the questions you can send to support. And then, because we want to end this in another way, I would say we can take one last question, but it needs to be a question from someone that has not asked anything today.
Okay, listen, thank you very much. I'm leaving.
Sorry, Sheila.
See you. All right, thanks.
So is there anyone that wants to go for the last question? Someone that has not asked anything today.
There was a question, I don't know if you answered it, that was about, wait a minute, about the Zoom, can you share a link for info on the Zoom?
Yeah.
Is there a training module?
Yes, so we have that. Do you want to find it? Do you think you have it there? Do you have the link to the Zoom module document? But how do you send it? Do you want to put it in the chat now? Because the thing is that people are leaving right now, so I don't know if it's the best idea.
I can do that real quick.
Okay, but maybe you could put it on Slack so we can.
Yeah, we can.
I definitely already posted it on Slack, but I can post it again.
Slack again for sure.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Thanks so much. And the Zoom module does cost an extra $5 a month, is that right?
$5 a month, yeah.
So right to you guys to activate.
Yeah, need to activate. And then what we were saying before is, like, we really think it's a good improvement in terms of security. So we want to make it easy for people that want to test it and, don't feel that you're committing to the $5. So you can, test it for free, and then we don't like it, we will not charge the $5, but we need to stop it, right, obviously. But yeah, we would like to have as much people as possible testing it, and then we think it's a good investment.
Great, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you everybody for being here today, and we look forward to talking to you some more next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.